All right, next video we'll begin talking about the digestive system, and we'll do that for the rest of this unit, Unit 11, starting with just some basic functions of the digestive system. The functions of the digestive system are to take in food and break it down into nutrients that you can use to, live. And then absorbing those nutrients into the bloodstream, which is very important. And then also ridding the body of indigestible remains of food, which you see down there in number 6, which is one of the sillier pictures that I've seen. So just as an overview of the digestive system, the organs of the digestive system basically fall into two groups. You have one group of organs that make up what is known as the alimentary canal. And I don't see the word alimentary canal on here, but it basically is spelled like it sounds. This represents your, sometimes you'll see it called the GI tract or the gut, or, the GI stands for gastrointestinal tract. Basically, this is a continuous muscular tube that runs from your mouth to your anus, and its purpose is to digest food, break it down, absorb it into the bloodstream, and this involves all the organs that we typically associate with the digestive system. All right, and then you have these accessory organs that are part of that digestion as well, and this is like your teeth, your tongue, gallbladder, salivary glands, liver, pancreas. The food isn't passing through these organs, but they do help in the digestion of those organs or of the food. So we'll talk about all those organs as we go through this unit. So the digestive process basically involves 6 different activities, and you can see those on the picture on the right there. The colored words are the 6 different activities, and we'll talk about a few things in between. So the first one you have is ingestion. This is just actually eating, nothing to be described there. Then next is propulsion. You see there on the right. Propulsion involves literally propelling the food through the body. And so this is where you swallow, of course, and then the rest of that is called peristalsis, where the body, and you can see that here, it's just this involuntary movement of food through the alimentary canal. And there are smooth muscles that are involved in doing this, and you can kind of see how that works. It's basically pushing the food through the little brown pellets that you eat. All right, and then there is the mechanical breakdown, 3. This starts with chewing. Your stomach does some of this. Your small intestine also does some of this, and you can see this segmentation. Here I have a special thing on segmentation. This is basically just kind of a local constriction of the food, where it kind of mixes the food back and forth and allows the digestive juices to get all in there and allows it to be absorbed properly. And then there is digestion proper that occurs, and these are catabolic steps, basically where enzymes are slowly breaking down the food, allowing food to be absorbed. And that allows the next step is absorption, where those digestive fragments are taken into the blood or into the lymphatic system through means of absorption. And then the last step is defecation, which is basically eliminating all the indigestible substances from your body. And so let's look at how the digestive system is organized. There are a series of membranes, very similar to the respiratory system. If you remember, we talked about that. There's 2 different membranes there, the visceral and the parietal, but in this one they have a different name. They're called the peritoneum. Peritoneum is just this membrane that separates the digestive system from the rest of the body's stuff. And you have the visceral peritoneum and the parietal peritoneum. The visceral peritoneum is right up against the organs, and the parietal peritoneum is right up against the body wall. And between those two, you have the peritoneal cavity, which is a fluid-filled cavity that lubricates those organs. And then you also have something called mesentery here, and you can see the mesentery. Basically, mesentery's function is to provide a route for blood vessels, lymphatics vessels, for nerves, and it holds the organs in place. It keeps them from flopping around inside your body, and those mesenteries can also store fat. And you can see here, there's a couple of other words that we need to be familiar with. There are, where's the other? Intra-peritoneal organs and retroperitoneal organs. Intra-peritoneal organs are organs that are located within the peritoneum, and retroperitoneal organs are located outside or posterior to, like behind hairs. You can see that, or they're not, like the liver here, obviously not part of that either. So you can kind of see the difference between those. And a little bit about the alimentary canal itself. The alimentary canal, as far as the tissues that it's made up of, there's 4 tissues that the alimentary canal is made up of. You can see them on the right-hand side in bold letters. There is the mucosa, the submucosa, the muscularis externa, and the serosa. And I'll just give you a brief rundown of what these do. Basically, this is kind of showing you a random step along the way to kind of give you an idea of what they look like. But these 4 parts are basically found all throughout the alimentary tube, starting in the mouth and ending at the anus. And so you have the mucosa. This lines the lumen. Remember, the lumen is this area where the food goes through. And so the mucosa is this innermost lining. It secretes mucus, it secretes digestive enzymes, hormones, other things associated with digestion. It absorbs also the products of digestion. And another function is that it prevents against infectious disease. It deals with some of the microbes that you may have in you. Next is the submucosa, and this is the next layer here. You can see the submucosa. The submucosa contains the blood, contains lymphatic vessels, contains the nerves and different things associated with keeping the digestive system functioning and keeping it itself filled with nutrients so that it can function properly. And there's a lot of elastic tissues as well. You can see here this with this connective tissue looking things are supposed to be. Basically, as these organs stretch, when you eat food, they are able to regain their shape because of this submucosa. And the next layer is the Muscularis Externa. I bet you can figure out what it does. It has muscle. And so this is primarily involved in segmentation and or peristalsis. And then lastly is the serosa. Serosa is the outermost layer, and this is kind of a tough outer layer that just protects the whole system.